And they will elect to not bring this one out as our first drive will begin at the 25. They start on the ground with Elliott. They'll take that 14 yards on play number 1.
Good running right there. And this is a man who's a 1,000-yard rusher in the regular season, so you know he's going to get his chances, and he picks up nice yardage on that one.
So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. They keep on the ground with Elliott. Nowhere to go that time. He maybe got a yard up to the 40.
Well, sometimes you just have to give credit to the defense. Great job there at the point of attack, holding up. They won their battles at the line of scrimmage, left him no space to try and run. A really nice job swarming to the ball carrier.
On 2nd and 9, Prescott. Man open, that's complete to Dalton Schultz. And Prescott to Schultz there for the Cowboy first.
That was a route run not just with dexterity, but with intelligence. Found the hole in the zone, made sure the quarterback saw him, and was able to make the sure catch and flip the down marker back to 1.
A first down carry by Elliott. And they go backwards here, losing yardage back at the 48-yard line. Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up 2nd and 11. Prescott now. He finds his target. It's Schultz. And he'll be brought down just shy of the 40.
And there's a completion to the tight end. And look at the size of these players nowadays. At that spot, 6'4", 6'5", and up. A lot of guys used to be basketball players. Somehow came back to football. That's really good for the game of football. You get better athleticism, great hand-eye coordination, guys who know how to control their bodies when they run their routes.
A nice pickup of 23 on the 3rd down conversion. So from inside the 20, here's 1st and 10 at the 18. Now back to the ground with Elliott. And this time they were ready for him as they'll stop him right at the line of scrimmage. He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11. Counting down toward the midway point in quarter 1. On 2nd and 11 now. Prescott. He's going to be sacked back at the 23-yard line. Dexter Lawrence able to drop him for a loss of 4 from his defensive tackle spot. He seemed to have a reasonable amount of time in the pocket, but he couldn't get rid of the football, and the end result, Charles, him on the ground.
Yeah, he's got to keep an internal clock to go along with his offensive line. When you're talking about 3, 4, 5 seconds, that's a reasonable amount of time to expect to deliver the ball downfield. So
he rifles one that's intercepted. Picked by Julian Rowe. And the Giants are going to take over at their own 11-yard line. And certainly, look, you're on the road in the playoffs. That is a suboptimal start, opening drive INT.
And, partner, sometimes I wonder, do these teams talk about it to such an extent that maybe you almost talk yourself into the turnover when you're trying to avoid it?
Yeah, maybe they get a little too worried about keeping the football, and then you give it to the other team right off the bat. And, look, we said it, on the road, this is just a terrible, terrible start for them.
It is, and now they've got to rely on their defense.
They'll start out on the ground. It's Saquon Barkley. And he's taken down, but not before he gets this across the 25-yard line. That play going for 16 yards to start the drive. First down. Well, one unit I know you want to watch is that offensive line. If they keep clearing holes like that, it could be a long night defensively.
No doubt about it, because when they are in sync, as we're seeing so far, where that continuity is there, and you can see that they're playing off of each other while controlling the defensive front.
Oh, that's into a sea of bodies, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Kelvin Joseph. And the Cowboys are going to take possession of the football. So consecutive interceptions here early on in this one, and maybe setting the tone, Charles, for a game where the defense really takes center stage.
And don't you think that both offenses are really catching the bit from their coaching staff about avoiding these turnovers that we've seen early? I think both teams are trying to find an advantage. We know that. Can one of them break away and take control of this game?
The running lanes have definitely not been there for him here in the first half, and I don't think it's all been his fault. His offensive line hasn't given him much space. A loss results there.
Well, into a sea of defenders and intercepted. Xavier Rhodes with a pick.
Well, it doesn't take a whole lot of investigation to figure out why they're still sitting at 0 on the scoreboard, because their quarterback's got to wake up and start reading defense a heck of a lot better after throwing his second interception.
The Giants offense at the line, ready to begin their next drive. As the offense comes out here, Charles, maybe perhaps a bit more of a focus on the run game for this drive after tossing an interception on the previous one?
I think that's a good way to look at it and a good way to think about it, but maybe they get to it in a little bit different way, because after you throw an interception, you want to make sure you keep your quarterback's confidence high. So maybe give him a couple easy throws that he can complete, and then get to the running game and try and get things settled down.
Yeah, and still in the first half here, a long way to go. Running again with Barkley on second down. And forget about finding a lane. He barely had time to look up before he was planted in the backfield. Going to need a crafty play call here. 14 yards is what they need to try to convert this thing. Throwing deep for Galladay. And that will be incomplete. Well, they weren't scared to let it fly, but it falls to the ground and brings up fourth down.
Well, they've got man coverage on the outside, and my scouting report on these DBs tells me that they love to take matters in their own hands. They want man coverage, not zone. And there was good coverage there that forced the incompletion.
And he'll go out of bounds, looks like right at the 15. That'll be put in the books as a 53-yard punt. And the Cowboys will be backed up to start the drive. They'll have it 1st and 10. About set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense. And it's been a miserable start for them offensively. Obviously, 2 drives, 2 interceptions.
And this is where you have to know your quarterback and know how you actually have to reach him. Do you do it with a little bit of humor? Maybe you break the ice a little bit, like, hey, didn't we practice in that color jersey all week, not the one that you're throwing it to? Or maybe you have to be stern with it. But whatever it's going to take to get the message, it has to be done. He's putting the game in jeopardy.
Don't need it all back at once, but you figure they're going to need something here. 17 yards to go on second down. No score after 1 on EA Sports. A hole to dig out of here. 2nd and 17. Prescott to throw it. And for the 3rd time here in this half, it's intercepted. And he will bring it back. It's a pick-6 and a Giants touchdown. And we'll see if that pick-6 looms large as this game continues, because we've seen plays like that alter a lot of playoff contests over the years.
I would agree with that totally. And you often think to yourself, why do they alter it so much? Because after games, don't we hear coaches and players say, well, one play doesn't usually determine the outcome? But I don't think that's really true, do you? Because there's times when we see plays like that, and all of a sudden the momentum jumps to that team side, it deflates the other side, and they never pick it back up. And then things really go from there, don't they?
That's the thing for me. We talk about momentum changes. A play like that is the ultimate momentum change. And he'll decide to not bring this one out as their drive will begin at the 25. About set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense. They are looking to make a bit of a 180. They are sputtering right now.
And frankly, I think it's time to call your playmakers together and say, all right, guys, we're going to lean on you through this patch. We need you to get us back on track and get us going in the right direction. So you're calling plays geared to them. Not necessarily that you look at your plays, oh, this hurts the defense. I want the ball in the hands of X, Y, and Z and see if we can move forward.
So don't get too cute. Go to the playmakers. They go to Elliott again. And this play will be blown up. He'll lose yardage back at the 38. D Ford that time showing what he can do defensively. Credit him with a tackle for loss.
We think, Brandon, I like the intensity this defense is showing right here in these first few drives. They're not just holding the line because they're doing their job, but they're doing more than that, aren't they? They're getting a nice push into the offensive backfield.
And a great example right there for the loss on the tackle. They try to throw on second down, but this one is incomplete. So he's 3 for 7 throwing the football right now. Not an awful start, but also not the sharpest of starts.
No, I would agree with that. But if you're a confident quarterback and to play that position, you have to be. You just act like there's something wrong with the wind currents or something wrong with the ball.
It is not you. Keep throwing. That timing usually develops.
14 yards, good for a Cowboy first down. Looking to throw. Prescott. He'll get this out wide here to Elliott. And they'll get this down to the 42-yard line. Looked like a pretty good, safe play right there. No, he's had trouble with the interceptions in this game there. Hits his guy on the flat.
And so many times we hear quarterbacks and offensive coordinators talk about in your progressions, you're either throwing the touchdown or you're throwing the check down. But earlier in the game, it was touchdown or interception. Now he got to the check down, a nice safe throw, and a good one.
A dump off to Elliott. Uses the spin, and they're going to have another first down as the tackle's made at the Giants' 24-yard line. They give him 17 yards that time as that'll move the chains. This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. They'll bring a receiver in motion right. Prescott looks to throw on first. That's going to be knocked away and incomplete.
What would look like a march to the end zone has hit a momentary roadblock with that incompletion. No need to panic. They just got to come up with a high percentage play call and see if they can get their offense back on track.
An incomplete pass on first down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. Now Prescott. And he will slide to a stop. He does have the first down. It's a gain of 11 yards that time, and it produces a new set of downs. From the 13 now, they work on 1st and 10. From the red zone now, Prescott. He finds his man, complete. It's Schultz. And they've got this down to about the 12-yard line.
As a defense, you're more balanced when you're in zone coverage because you're able to keep your eyes on the quarterback and see the play develop in front of you. You're able to keep the quick pass in front of them and stop it right at the line of scrimmage.
To throw again on 2nd down. Prescott. That's into the hands of Gallup over the middle. Yeah, that's good for a gain of 6. And now it's 3rd and 3. 2 minutes to play here in this first half of the NFL playoffs. They'll come out in the pistol. And this is going to be intercepted. Xavier Rhodes with a pick. And the Cowboys are going to have it here at their own 32-yard line. Wait a second, they declined the penalty?
I'm as puzzled as you are, partner. I don't understand how any time you lose possession of the ball, yet you turn down a penalty that would give you possession back. Let's make this simple. Anyone who plays the game, take the football. Always take the football.
Jones with a handoff to Barkley. And not a whole lot of room to operate there on the first down run. He gets maybe 3. The last run got 3. Now here's 2nd and 7. Now Jones. This one goes out wide for Barkley. Oh, he's got a little daylight. And he is out of bounds inside the 35. Getting it to him in space pays off big time. That winds up going for 31.
Big plays always wind up being a big theme as we get rolling in these playoffs, and the defenses that can avoid giving them up, but they're the teams that tend to go far. You may not eliminate those big plays, but if you can limit them, then you've got a chance to get to the ultimate game.
Throwing Jones. He's going to let this go. Back of the end zone. Toward the back corner of the end zone, but he could not get the feet down. This will wind up incomplete.
I like the thought process there. They connected on a big play, and sometimes you find the defense vulnerable. So they went for the bigger shot, went for it all on that one. This time, they were ready for it.
On 2nd and 10, Jones. Oh, that's into a double team, and it's intercepted. Picked up by Malik Hooker, and the Cowboys force the turnover. They'll take over at their own 27. So this defense coming up with a takeaway, and maybe that's something that can bring a little life to that sideline.
Well, I don't want to say that they've been sleepwalking through this first half because that's simply not true, but you're right. We haven't seen a lot of fire from these guys, really, on either side of the ball. So maybe that's the catalyst that they needed to get them back into this game.
A good pickup there on first as a screen pass gets them 8.
And a really nice play call there to start the drive, especially if you're a team that has a little bit of a reputation for throwing it downfield. You come out and you think maybe you can catch them off guard a little bit, and they did. Little screen pass, backdoored them, and that time worked well for a solid gain.
Now the Cowboys going to burn the first of their timeouts as they'll stop it with 40 seconds remaining in this first half. On 1st and 10, Prescott. And my goodness, another interception. Picked up by the USC man, Adoree Jackson. And he will bring it back. It's a pick-6 and a Giants touchdown. Well, CD, we have seen it many times throughout the course of the season. This defense coming up large and snagging a big takeaway. But here they get not just the takeaway, 6 points as well.
And you just knew that for this team to advance, it had to get a big performance from this unit. And to this point, they've delivered.
Gano the extra point, and that'll make the score 14-0. So they throw the pick-6. They'll get another shot at it now as this one's in the air. And a fair catch signaled for and taken successfully. About set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense. And with him down 2 scores, you wonder if they might try and put something together, even if it's just to get into field goal range. And he'll be upended at the 28-yard line. Just a 3-yard gain there. Slot man moves right. Looking to throw again on 2nd down. Prescott. He'll find Smith-Marset complete. And with just 4 seconds left in this first half, a timeout call. From the pistol, here's Elliott. And a pretty good burst there as he'll get this across midfield and down to the 46. So we come upon halftime here in this NFC wildcard matchup. As we'll send you down the coast now to Orlando. That's where we find Jonathan Coachman ready with our EA Sports halftime report. Coach. Welcome back. Charles and I settled into the booth, ready for quarter number 3. One of these two teams about to play their final half of the season as we're back at it in this NFC wildcard bout. A fairly short kick from the 14. And able to break this out all the way to the 38-yard line. Great return. The Giants offense at the line, ready to begin their next drive. And they're in the position they expected to be in. They've got the lead, home crowd behind them, and they're looking toward making that next step in these playoffs.
And I think a key for them is to put together some good, long, extended drives. Work the run it a little more with that big offensive line. I'm not saying get away from throwing the football. That's still working. But if they run it more effectively, they may get even bigger plays in the passing game.
Officially nothing on that last run. They'll try again, 2nd and 10. Back to throw. Jones. Finding Sterling Shepard for his first catch. They get 6. That'll leave them with 3rd and 4.
Slant route's effective no matter who's running the route and catching the ball. But when you have a receiver of that stature, you have to be a little bit more precise throwing it. You don't have the same catch radius with the bigger targets.
Looking to throw. Jones. And incomplete. They tried to drop it off, but he couldn't hold on.
I wonder, Brandon, I just wonder. You think maybe he was worried about where he was on the field? Was he far enough? Was he close enough to the first down sticks?
Absolutely. He was right there by him, and I think he was thinking first down before he caught that football.
Yeah, got to catch it first, because if you don't catch it, there's no chance of picking up a first down. He's got to be fired up about that effort. I don't think he could have walked down and placed it any better than where he ended up putting the football. That was excellent.
About set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense. And, Charles, they're certainly still right in this game, but they need that offense to wake up and in a hurry.
Yeah, I like the way you put it. They certainly did seem to...
And now here's another interception. Picked off by Xavier McKinney. Well, I mean, you get it. They're trying to make something happen here in this third quarter, CD, but I don't think a pick 6 is exactly what they had in mind.
No, not at all, because this offense, they've been stuck all game long. Haven't dented the scoreboard yet, and they're kind of forced to take a few chances here, and that one, it backfired in a big way.
Gano now to add the extra point. And it is now 21-0. So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick 6. And now the kick is away. And he'll just sit on this one as their drive will start at the 25.